Take you live now to Ocean Grove in Victoria, where Treasurer Josh Frydenberg is speaking to the media.
Or you're working in a nursery or own a nursery and you want to buy a new van, or you're a plumber who wants to buy new tools, you can write that off immediately, something that you couldn't do before the government's initiatives in this space. We are a government of lower taxes. We look to return the people's money at every opportunity. We want the Australian people to earn more, and we want them to keep more of what they earn. But not only have we delivered a surplus budget and record spending on hospitals and schools and roads and important programs like on mental health, but we've also done all of that without increasing taxes. The same can't be said about Bill Shorten. The same can't be said about the Labor Party. Because if you rent your own home, you'll end up paying more under Labor. $90 a week more if you live in Brisbane, $65 a week more if you live in Victoria, $60 a week more if you live in Adelaide or Perth, and $50 a week more if you live in Sydney. The value of your home will be worth less. And if you're a small business person who mortgages against that home, you will have less ability to do so, and that will be a real problem. And then, of course, the retirees tax. What the Labor Party is doing is reaching into the pockets of hard-working retirees. These are people who've done nothing wrong except get on the wrong side of the Labor Party. Bill Shorten insulted more than 1 million retirees in his budget reply by saying that they received a gift. A gift. Well, this is a bipartisan commitment that has been there as part of the tax system for decades until Bill Shorten ran out of money. So it doesn't matter if it's your home, it doesn't matter if it's your retiree savings, it doesn't matter if it's your business, it doesn't matter if it's your income, you will pay more under Bill Shorten. So the contest will be very clear at the next election. Will you vote for the coalition who believes in lower taxes and more spending on hospitals and schools, or will Bill Shorten give the keys to the lodge to the unions and increase your taxes by around $300 billion? Including, in his budget reply, he rejected more tax cuts, and an average income earner earning around up to, let's say, around $90,000, they will be more than $1,000 a year worse off under Bill Shorten's tax plan than they would be under us. That means if you're a tradie or a teacher, you will be more than $1,000 worse off under Bill Shorten. The Labor Party can't manage money, and so they're coming after yours.
Josh, can I also just add that if we can hold the seat of Corangamite, which of course is very marginal, then we can stop these terrible taxes that Labor wants to impose. So whether it's the retirees, there are 9,000 retirees here in Corangamite. There is an incredible amount of power of the people of Corangamite to stop this economy-wrecking agenda of Bill Shorten. Whether it's your house, whether it's your savings, whether it's young people trying to save as well, Bill Shorten is coming after your money. But the people of Corangamite have a great deal of power. By voting Liberal on election day, they can stop Bill Shorten's agenda and also help us drive this record-breaking investment in transport infrastructure, in roads, in rail, that the Labor Party has completely turned its back on, of course, as well as schools and hospitals. And it is absolutely shameful that the likes of Richard Marles and Labor here in Corangamite are now campaigning against fast rail, better rail between Geelong and Melbourne. That is the sort of Labor Party that we have here in Corangamite, and that's why I say to all people here in the wonderful seat of Corangamite, please vote Liberal on election day, and let's grow this economy, grow this nation, and stop this dreadful agenda from Bill Shorten.
Any questions?
Treasurer, obviously here campaigning at the moment. Do you think voters should be put out of their misery and have an election called?
Well, the election will be soon upon us, and what is very clear from Bill Shorten's budget and reply speech is there's nothing in his plans for small business. There's nothing except higher taxes in his plans for retirees. There is no serious tax reform agenda, and the Labor Party only believes in higher taxes. Higher taxes on your superannuation, higher taxes on your income, higher taxes on your business, higher taxes on your property, higher taxes if you're a retiree, and higher taxes on your electricity bill. This is something that will hurt every household and every business. The Labor Party, in their DNA, has higher taxes. That's in the Labor Party's DNA. That's their record. That's what they're promising the Australian people.
What's stopping the Prime Minister from going to Yarrawonga this weekend?
Well, as you know, the timing of the election is the Prime Minister's decision and decision alone, and it will be made in due course. An election will soon be upon us, but the contest will be very clear.
Corangamite is obviously getting a lot of attention from the government. How worried are you about this seat?
Well, I'm very confident that Sarah Henderson will be returned as the member for Corangamite because of her track record here in the seat. No one has worked harder for their local community than Sarah has for the people of Corangamite. And the work and the resources that she has delivered to this electorate, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's support for small business, whether it's in the healthcare services, whether it's the sporting grants and the local community organisations she has backed, they know, the people of Corangamite know, that in Canberra they have a strong voice in Sarah Henderson.
You've got to be a bit worried given it's super marginal.
Well, obviously, every seat is going to be a fight at the next election. We're not complacent in any sense, and we don't take any seat for granted. We work hard to earn the trust of the local communities that our people represent.
And can I just add, this is obviously a very, very tough fight. This is the most marginal coalition-held seat in the country. Every single vote will count. But apart from what we have delivered, which is many millions of dollars in investment for the likes of surf clubs, for the likes of this city deal, for major roads, major rail infrastructure, I've also been a very strong local voice for my electorate. So whether it's standing up for the people of Inverleigh when the council wants to impose a streetscape plan which is not supported by the community, whether it's the victims of the terrible bushfire that hit Wye River and Separation Creek back in 2015, whether it's the Winchelsea tea rooms that the local council, including my Labor opponent, wants to close down, a really vital community asset. Whether it's supporting the people of the Ballerine or the Surf Coast wanting swimming pool infrastructure, I pride myself on being a huge fighter for my community. I will go in and fight for communities big and small across this vast regional electorate, and that's incredibly important. We haven't seen that fight from the Labor Party, and when the city deal was announced last year by state Labor, the Corangamite electorate was excluded, and I went in and we delivered many tens of millions of dollars for vital investments in places like Lorne, in Apollo Bay, in Skeens Creek, in Kennett River, and of course right throughout the Geelong community. So you've got to be a fighter in politics. I am a fighter, and that's one more reason why I'm asking for the support of the people of Corangamite on election day.
Do you think that delaying an election risks angering the voters in, say, super marginal seats like this one?
Well, everybody knows the election will soon be upon us, and again, that decision is one for the Prime Minister. Well, let's put some facts on the table. In the budget, we have extended the PBS to more drugs involving treatment for cancer. In fact, over the last year, we've added $1.4 billion worth of drugs that treat cancer patients, and that's really important, and that's a product and a dividend of a strong economy. And we shouldn't forget that the Labor Party did not list certain drugs because their economic circumstances did not allow it. We have got the economy into a stronger position from the one we inherited, and that's why we've been able to list some 2,000 drugs on the PBS, including to help cancer patients. We've also put in this budget money for a new and the first children's cancer hospital in Sydney. That is very, very significant. And there's also money for 6 million new free cancer scans under Medicare. These are the sort of projects and programs and initiatives that we have funded for cancer sufferers in the budget, and we'll continue to do everything we can to alleviate some of the challenges faced by cancer sufferers.
And I might just add also that one of the great local achievements that we have delivered is a new MRI Medicare licence for Epworth Hospital, along with money for a new paediatric emergency department, as well as $50 million for a new children's and women's facility. But that, of course, I can't discount the $235 million that our government is contributing to Barwon Health and the Geelong Hospital by way of recurrent funding, and that's gone up by 104% in 6 years compared to an increase from the state government of only 50%. So we are now providing to this community by way of recurrent health funding, $235 million a year in activity-based funding, which is actually more than the state government. So we're going to hear plenty of Labor lies in the next 6 weeks or so, lies about cuts to health and education, and we've seen those lies from Richard Marles on our rail, the Mediscare. Please disregard those lies. It's in Labor's DNA. Apart from driving up taxes, driving up spending, what Labor does best is tell lies. We are not going to cop it. So the facts are, in this region, our government is providing more to Barwon Health by way of recurrent health funding than the state government. They are the facts, and we are very proud of what we are doing to invest in the health of all Australians, including here in Corangamite.
Excellent. Well, like I said, we're increasing our support for those who are suffering cancer with free scans under Medicare, with a new cancer hospital for children, with a record number of drugs that were listed on the PBS at a cost of some $10.5 billion, drugs that weren't listed by the Labor Party when they were last in government because they didn't have the financial circumstances to do so. And of course, record spending on hospitals that we have undertaken. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Let's go inside.
Right, that was the Treasurer and Sarah Henderson speaking in the very marginal seat.